beautiful people, how is you doing? My name is Keb and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to film a video on my July wrap up, and last month I read a couple of books that were very awesome, and I read total 6 books in the month of July. So let's get started. The first book that I read last month is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this is about this famous singer Daisy Jones and the band that is Six. It is a journey of the making of the band, that how the band become a name and fame, and how it all break up, how Daisy Jones become the one of the famous name in this band. And I just love this book because I heard many of people talking about the audiobook, that the audiobook is better than the physical copy. So I just switched to audiobook and it was great. It was narrated by all the members of the band, that what exactly happened to the band on a particular incident. They bring out their opinions about any particular conditions or the time that they were performing or whatever the conditions were, and it was narrated in such a great way that the characters feel alive, and it just feel like they were performing right in front of you, and that's why it make it more special while listening to audiobook. My favorite character is of course Daisy Jones, because I just related with her, her life, for her love for the band, and the complicated relation between Billy and Daisy. It was so amazing, so great, and I just feel it so connected. I really liked the book and I enjoyed while I was listening the audiobook. So it was a very good read for me, so I just end up giving it 4 stars. The next book that I read is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak, and this is a historical fiction. The first thing that I like about this book is that it is written by the perspective of death, and it was such a great idea. No one can ever expect a storytelling by the perspective of death. I mean, it was such a great idea. So this begins with this girl named Lazel who stole books, and that had stolen her book. So in a plane, they both are kind of book thieves, and this girl just went on a journey with her brother, and her brother died in the journey, and her mother left them to foster parents. There she got a friend in her foster father that helps her to read. Next is this boy Rudy, who just want to be like Jesse Owens, and for that he painted himself black. And there is a Max, a Jewish fist fighter. There is Nazi party, bombardment. There is a lot of things that are going in this book, and all were so amazing, and all these characters in this story were so full of life. This story was set up in the World War II, when Hitler was on in the peak of the rising, and he just created massive killings, and it was just great to read about how Jews were treated in the Nazi party, and it was really heartbreaking and thoughtful, that every chapter make you understand. I like the characters of Rudy, Hans Haberman, Rosa Herman, Max storytelling. They were so great, and I just love these characters. Some of the favorite lines from this book is war is best friend of death, and death is haunted by human. These were so thoughtful. It was such a great read for me. I just felt it in my heart, and I just love this book. I would like to read it again and again because it was such a fantastic book. So I end up giving it 5 stars. The next book that I read is The Rise of Sivagami by Anand Nilkanthan, and this is the book that is set up before the beginning of Bahubali. If you have watched the Bahubali, that was a very blockbuster movie from the last 2 years, that is 17 or 18. And this book is set up before that, and all the characters that were in the movie, how they were plotted, and how they acquired their places. And this is the journey of Sivagami, basically, who just how she rises from orphanage to becoming a Bhumipati of this kingdom, that is Mahismati, and how Katappa was known as this famous slave for this kingdom. And all these characters were described from their initial stages, and I just love reading about them, their early life, and how they got their positions and names. My favorite were Katappa and Iskandasa, because they were such a loyal and honest persons, but their life were so struggling and so hard. I just love this book so much because this is a complete movie in a single book. It has a love, hatred, loyalty, action, treachery, everything. That means that you can get everything in this single book, and that's why I ended up giving it 4 stars. The next book that I read is The Chalkman by C.J. Tudor, and this is a thriller slash horror book, and the story flashes back and forth between 1986 and 2016. In 1986, it follows a group of teenage boys and a girl who found a dead body in the woods, and a chalk drawing were made on the woods to lead them to the body. And in 2016, all the boys are grown up and living their lives, and then one of them come back to their group and claim that he know who has killed that girl. And as a thriller, it is one of my favorite genre. I just love reading thrillers, and I enjoyed this book. It has the horror input and those creepy part in the story that gave me a really scary moment when I was reading this book. And the ending, it was such a twist that I could not believe it. I was not expecting that, and the characters that were portrayed in it was so different as from the very beginning. And the main character, that is the protagonist, was Ed, and his character was so simple, and when it last, it was such a twisted, and it was such a disturbing for me in the end. But I like the whole story, that's why I ended up giving it 4 stars. Next book I read is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secret of the Universe by Benjamin Ellisage, and this is a YA contemporary LGBT romance set in 1980s in Texas. This follows these 2 boys, that is Ari and Dante, and it was narrated by the perspective of Ari, who is 15-year-old all angry person. He got angry about all the things, and he's just confused about his existence. And then he met this boy Dante, who is a very charming, but he's also confused about his life and himself. They both try to solve the secrets of the universe together, but they figure out something very different between themselves. There is this Ari's father who silently bears the trauma of the Vietnam War, keeping him distant from his son, and the other in there is Dante's father and mother, who were so happy and supportive and loving. And I just really love Dante's parents because they are so good, and I love the writing style of this. It was so lyrical, and it's just make it more special to read. I would love to reread it because I could not get all of the information in just one read. It was so good, and some of the dialects and lines were so true. Like the very beginning of the book says that the problem with my life is that it was someone else's idea, and that was so true, and I just loved this book. And this is another line, that is everybody is fighting a war within themselves, and this is also so true, and I just loved it so much, and I end up giving it 4 stars. And the last book that I read is Pink by Rashi Dubey, and this is a romance set up in the era of Yahoo and email, and when the people chat over emails, and there was no Facebook and Instagram of direct messaging. So there is this girl Riddhi, and she get a pink from Arush, and they fall in love with each other, and they just decided to live their life together. And after rebelling their parents, they got married, and after that their real journey started. I just have a lot of issue with these characters. First, Arush is the character that I hated a lot because his behavior was so frustrating, and he was just so bad. And then there is Riddhi. It just feel kind of like Riddhi is obsessed with this Arush, and she just work all her life to get a proper job and settle in her life and be a independent girl. But when she got the opportunity, she just let it go, and I did not find it appropriate, and I just think it's a bullshit because all the characters were plotted like they were just wanted to be a free person, and they want to depend on themselves, and at last they just left the opportunity, and it was so bad. I did not like it at all. I did not like this story, and that's why I end up giving it 3 stars. This is it, guys. It's all about today, and please let me know in the comment below which one is your favorite read from the month of July, and what are you going to read in the next month. I will meet you soon in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.